Welcome to today's Proven Learning series. My name is Christy Ragone. I am one of the product specialist team leads here at Can-Am Systems. In today's learning session, we are going to review customizing your job intake and job dispatch screens and what that entails. Before we begin today's session, let's review a few housekeeping items. All attendees have been muted during today's session to cut down on background noise. Your videos have automatically been turned off during today's session to avoid any distractions. This session's recording will be available via our PSA help library in addition to our company's YouTube channel. Any questions that you have during today's session will need to be directed to our PSA support team, which can be reached at support@canamsys.com. Today's session has been pre-recorded, and please keep in mind, again, we do encourage you, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to our support team at support@canamsys.com. Before we jump into this proven learning session, I want to quickly give you an overview of what we are going to cover today. First, prior to customizing your job intake screen, I want to talk about some of the key components that can help your company with this customization, such as understanding how to customize dates and how that correlates to your job file and that job creation screen, in addition to understanding relationships and your job file screen, as well as understanding custom fields. Then we're going to hop into creating your customized intake screen and review the automations available for dispatch. One thing about our ERP solution is the ability to customize many different aspects of our program. Now, coming into Proven Job System can be a bit overwhelming with all the different customization options. During today's session, I plan on going through a few of those different customization options available to you through our job intake screen and the correlating components to hopefully make your workflows a bit easier. Now, there are several key components in setting up a customized job file. One of those is your dates in Proven Jobs. Proven Jobs comes with a set of predefined built-in dates. Now, for most companies, those dates are fine, and those dates link to our control center, which allows the job to move through the stages in our control center. However, companies do have the ability to create customized dates to better fit maybe different stages in their job files. However, these customized dates, keep in mind, will not link to the stage bubbles in our control center. The built-in dates in Proven Jobs are not editable by the user. That is another thing to just kind of keep in mind when editing or modifying anything with your dates in Proven Jobs and trying to get your workflow in place. Now let's take a look at where to create and edit your date types in Proven Jobs System. Now if I go to Settings, Company Settings, I'm just going to navigate to the Jobs section, and here I'm going to click on Edit Date Type. Once I'm in the Date Type screen, you will notice I have several different options here. I have the ability to link my built-in dates to exact analysis. I can fill a date when a job is lost, etc. I'm just going to simply select the Create button. Here, I'm going to give the date a specific description. I also have the ability to define if I want to show a time. Now, some dates in our system simply show the date and not the time. Now, we can get into this at a later date, but we can also link dates to correlate to TPA companies such as Exact Analysis and Symbility. Now, that is in another session that we have covered and is also in our Proven Academy. We also have the ability to upload a date from a form inside the system, and we can correlate a date to fill when a job is lost. Now you can see I've entered in my information and I just select Save. Now, keep in mind when you add a customized date to your proven jobs database, you also have to give security to the user role in order to select that date on the job file. So that needs to be done in Settings, Roles, and select the applicable role. So if my general manager operations has to enter that date on the job, then select Jobs, then select Dates. And you can see these dates, because they're custom dates, have not been applied to this user role security. So you will need to select those and then select Save. And that needs to happen for every security role, even if they're using these dates on a workflow in order to be applicable. Now, the last option to kind of correlate dates back to your job file is the ability to display specific dates to specific job types. Now, if in this job dates screen, you've created specific job dates that are only applicable to specific job types, like I have one in here for equipment on site and equipment removed, you can only display those job dates on a mitigation job, for example. So here I have a mitigation job, and you can see that I only have those specific dates that are applicable to that particular job type. Well, how that was completed, let's go into Settings, Company Settings. We're going to select that Jobs section again, and then select Edit Job Types. I'm going to select my mitigation job by selecting Edit. Now you can see this section here that says Limit to Date Types. Now what I have done is I've told the system I only want these dates to display on the job. If I wanted all dates to display on the job, doesn't matter what, you see this job fire damage? Notice that it's blank. So it's going to display every date I have in the system on that job. The next customization we want to take a look at is employee types in proven jobs. Now, companies have the ability to create employee types to correlate to their company's employee types in the proven jobs system. They also have the ability to automatically assign employees to a job at the time of job creation. Additionally, companies also have the ability to control what displays as far as employee types go on each job types. Additionally, they also can determine if it is a fill-in option or an add to onto the interface. So we'll talk about that a little bit in just a second. Now, the only thing that we do not have the ability is to assign employees to a team functionality. Now, that question gets asked to me quite often, so I did want to kind of go over that in this webinar. And proven desktop employee types do need to be created on the desktop application. So this screen does not correlate to our employee desktop sync databases. So let's hop into our live database and take a look at how to create these employee types. Now I'm just going to go to Settings and Company Settings and just hop down here to our Jobs section and edit employee types. Now you can see here I have a few employee types already created in my database, and I could create more. So if I have a team coordinator, I'm just going to type in team coordinator, and I do have the ability to display this on the job creation screen. Now we are going to talk about creating our own job creation template screen. So I'm not going to select to display it, but I do have to correlate a role position for that team coordinator. Now that role position carries over to our log note templates and our custom forms. So you do need to assign a role position to this employee type. Now I've assigned role position 6 to that employee type, so that will allow the team coordinator role position to have a field mapping type to our log note templates and our custom forms. Now the other option in our system is the ability to automatically assign employees to a job. So I'm going to come back up here to company settings, and I'm going to come down here to the jobs section. and I'm going to select Edit Default Employee. Now here I have a few default employees already set, but I'm going to select a default employee from my list. So I'm going to assign a me. I'm going to select me as the project manager for the specific location, and then I have the ability to narrow it down for a specific job type. So let's say that I'm the project manager for all reconstruction job types. The other option I want to take a look at is how those employees, or basically your relationships in general, are going to interact with your job creation or job file. So I'm going to come down here to the jobs section, and there's a selection box called Display All Relationships on Jobs. So I'm going to leave that blank for just the time being so we can kind of take a look at what that looks like without that selection box being displayed. And I'm going to select my job and select relationships. I'm just going to navigate over here onto the Employees tab. So you can see right here, I have no employees displaying. I have no companies displaying except for the ones that I've added to the job, contacts, etc. So I have the ability to add additional employees to my job by selecting the employee and selecting add. Now if I come back up here to company settings, I select jobs and I select that display all relationships on jobs and select save. I'm just going to come back over here to that job, select the Employees tab. You can now see my interface has changed just a bit. And now those employees, those employee types are now all going to display. So it's basically going to tell me what I need to fill in on my job, what is missing in essence. So that is going to happen for employees, companies, contacts, etc. So it's basically in essence telling me what I'm missing from all of those organizations and employees on my job file. So a click to fill in, essentially. The other option we want to take a look at is company types in proven jobs. Again, the same thing with employee types. We also want to identify those specific company types we're dealing with our job file. So in our system, we do have built-in company types that come with your database, but we also have the ability to create additional company types. Then we can also control what displays on each job type. And then just like our employee types, we can determine if it's a fill-in or add to display. The same option that I just showed you previously with that display all relationships. Let's take a look at creating company types within the proven job system. We're going to go to settings, company settings, scroll down to relationships, and then select edit company types. Now, just like our employee types, we do have to assign a marketing position to our company types the same way. Again, for those log note templates and those custom forms, you do have to associate a marketing position. I'm just going to select create. Then I'm going to enter in that specific company type and then provide it with a marketing position. Now you can see on my interface, I have my HVAC company and my associated marketing position. Now with both employee types and company types, just like our date types, we can control what displays on our interface. Back within settings and company settings, I'm going to select jobs and go to that edit job types screen. Here within that job types edit screen, I can limit to employee types and limit to company types. So if I only wanted a team coordinator, estimator, maybe I had a lead technician as an employee type, that would only display on this particular job type. Again, with company types, maybe you have a plethora of company types, but there's only specific ones that you want to display on the interface. You can still add to your job file screen, but here are the ones that you're most stringent about getting on that job file to make it complete. The last item we want to talk about is understanding custom fields in Proven Jobs. Proven Jobs has many entry screens inside of the system that allows users to customize different entry form options in order to customize their database to their needs. Now, I've listed several different options here that allows you the ability to customize different aspects of the database to basically customize it to your company's needs. We have our cost screen, our equipment tracking screen, our invoice, jobs, our product screen, our service request screen, which is an option in our customer portal, our temporary labor screen, and our time clock screen, which is to be utilized on our clock out screen. So we have several different options available to our users inside the system. The one item that we're going to talk about today is our job screen. This allows users to create custom fields to be utilized on the job file screen. Now, this does have a separate entry tab on the custom fields tab in the job file. So here you have the ability to create your own custom fields to your company's needs. Now, this is available within Settings, Company Settings, and selecting Edit Custom Fields. Now I'm just going to select that Jobs option. Now here I created a couple of options to display today. Now you will notice here you can just simply select Add to create another field available to you, and there's all these different options available on the interface that will allow you to input and interact with that custom fields screen. Now, if I go to this job file that I kind of have up, there is a custom fields tab. You can see that here. And you can see that there's questions here. Has the water been turned off? Is there standing water? I have some draw request options here. You can kind of create anything that is not available within our job file system to capture in this custom fields. Now let's take a look at the final piece of the pie, our job create template. Our job create template allows companies to create an intake screen associated with specific job types correlated to their company's needs. What this does is allows you to take every field inside the database, including custom dates, employee types, custom fields, and drag and drop them onto an interface in order for you to create a customized screen based on your company's needs. You also have the ability to make specific fields required if your company intends to do so. So for example, if your company wants to always capture the referral source, referral company, and referral contact, you have the ability to make that field a required field. Let's take a look at how this looks in our system. We're going to navigate to Settings, Company Settings, into Jobs, and select Edit Job Create. Now keep in mind, currently at the present time, the job creation template screen is a feature option available on the database and will need to be turned on by our support team. So I'm going to select that Edit Job Create. Now when you come into the Job Create template screens, you can see what has been published, what is the default screen, and what is pending. Now I'm just going to select this one that I was working on today by selecting Edit. And I have a couple of options here on the right hand side. Now these are my template fields available for me to drag and drop. Now currently, the way our current Proven Jobs intake screen works is there are limited fields available on the intake. It's a simplistic intake that allows the user to quickly enter a job file and create a job to get a work order out to their team members. Here, you have the ability to customize it based on whatever you want. Now, I have created a more customized intake screen based on what I feel is applicable. Now, the green label option allows you to write directionals onto the intake screen. So maybe your intake person forgets what they need to do. The intake screen is controlled by job type. So as a recommended best practice, I would recommend having the job type as the first entry item onto the intake screen. Because if you have different intake screens based off of the job type, it can change automatically with the job type being first. Now, in this example, I did enter in some label information. Enter in billing party. If HOA claim, ensure that property management company is entered here. So let's say your intake person forgets to capture the property management company and the billing information is captured incorrectly quite often. So I did drag in a label. You can see if I drag in a label here, it's a blank label. I can double click on that and I can write directionals. Here, I've got my loss information down here. So you can see that's kind of written down here. I have the customer property. In this label, I said confirm location. Maybe your database has multiple locations and the job intake person always sets the location to a different location and your workflows go out differently. In this section right here, we have referral company, referral contact, referral source. You do have the ability to mark those as required. You see that they're in yellow. It's showing me that these are in yellow and that they are required. Now I'm just going to pull those down. Now you see all the labels over here on the right-hand side that are in black. Well, that is indicative of a custom field option. So I'm just going to pull this down. And I'm gonna just select, has the water been turned off and is there standing water? Because those are gonna show up on my intake screen. Now I'm gonna pull this up, get my loss information kind of all together, get my referral source over here. I can keep dragging and dropping however I see fit. I'm just gonna select save. Now I can preview this prior to publishing it. So you can see it's given me information. These are the labels that I created. I just modified the font color so that it kind of showed up on the interface. I have my customer information. I have the location over here. I have my billing method. I said enter the site location and job site address here so that the user knew, maybe they're new, where to enter that information. And then I have loss information. These are the custom fields that I created on my database. And then I have that loss description right here. And then I'm starting with my referral information. So let's go back to my edit screen. I also have those specific dates that were created. So I have my equipment on site date and my equipment removed date. Then I have the inspected date. Let's say I want to put those on the interface. So let's say save, and I'm going to preview it. So all this information is automatically here on my job file. So I'm going to return to edit, and I'm going to publish this. So this is correlated to a water non-program job. So I'm going to click jobs, and I'm going to click create. And I'm automatically just going to select a water non-program. Now my screen looks a little different right now because I have other pending job types, but you see how my screen automatically changed based off of that job type selection. Now I have the ability, I can answer those custom questions that I created in company settings. So here you have the ability, I have those customized dates, equipment on site was today. I have equipment removed, of course, hasn't happened yet. I have my referral source information is in here. What if I didn't enter it in? I'm going to just fill in a couple of fake information. And I'm going to try to navigate away and just hit save. And you see right here, the referral company and referral contact is throwing a red error saying that it is required. That is because in company settings, when that job creation screen was created, I made these required fields. Now that we have created our job creation template, what automation options do we have in Proven Job System? The first option we have is a log note template. We've already created and set up our marketing role positions dedicated to our employee types and organization company types in the Proven Jobs database. In addition to our customize date options. Those can be utilized within the note template to create note templates to be manually added to the system to utilize onto the job file. In addition, we also have job notifications that can be created in company settings based on specific dates. When hit, can automatically send out auto job notifications that can also be used in conjunction with log note templates. We also have Proven On-Site that alerts clients when a technician is on the way. In addition to a note topic date field, when a specific note topic is selected on a job file, think about this with using with a note template, it will automatically fill a date in on a job file. In addition, we do have our workflow starting and ending triggers. For more information on all these automation options in detail, please look to our Proven Academy or our help library. Note templates, job notifications, and a note topic date field is included in our automations course. Our Proven On-Site has its own dedicated course as well as our workflow course. Additionally, look for future Proven Learning webinar series dedicated to these topics, as well as our company's YouTube channel. I want to thank each and every one of you for attending today's Proven Webinar Learning Series. Again, if you have any questions related to today's session, please do not hesitate to reach out to our support team at support@canamsys.com.